Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about why is that feminism bothers or sort of disturbs most male brains. All right, I always try to bring the scientific aspect of uh, of various aspects of life. The channel has a broad array of topics. Please stay tuned and let's enjoy. Why does feminism bothers most male brains? So, guys, I would like to explain you basically what is the difference between a male brain and a female brain. Well, uh, science doesn't really understand really much about the brain. The brain is really complex. By far, is the most complex structure or system that is out there in the universe. It's so complex, so much so complex that estimates and neuroscientists say that it would take probably 10,000 or tens of thousands of years for us to map it down and sort of understand it, and we could actually understand more about the universe, such as dark matter and antimatter, more than we can understand about the brain. So diving into what happens, why does the brain of male brains are disturbed by feminism? So here's the thing. Male brains and female brains are slightly different. There's a thing in our cells, in all our single cells. Each cell of your body has something called a mitochondria. A mitochondria is the energy factory of the body, sort of the internal combustion engine of your body, of your cells. So it produces the energy called ATP. It sends it to various organelles inside the cells, and these cells will perform their functions, whatever they see that they have to do. They already have the building materials to utilize them and make use of them so that life keeps on going. So this is what happens to male brains. So mitochondria, as I mentioned, it's very strange. It's really different. Inside the cell we have two things. We have the nucleus, we have the mitochondria. These two things are the only two things that they have their own DNA. The mitochondrial DNA, surprisingly, it's transmitted only from a female to the eggs in the ovaries. Male reproductive cells do not have mitochondria. They have their own mitochondria, but they're not transmitted. The genetic information is not transmitted to the new being that will be conceived. So basically, what that means is that the way the brain is formed, a male brain and a female brain, are profoundly different. They're the same because they encode the same functions, but they develop differently. That's because of the mitochondria, and secondly, because of one thing called hormones. So because of certain chromosomes and genetic information, males develop the testes that produce some endocrine hormones called testosterone. And for females, they produce progesterone and other hormones that will influence how their brains develop. So the endocrine system is really wirely connected to the brain, and the brain has all these responsive aspects of it, and makes it sort of evaluates it. It stimulates the production in case the production is low, and it downgrades the production if the production is high, sort of to regulate it and make sure it doesn't really affect the brain and doesn't really make it, too masculine or too feminine or too excited or less excited. So basically what happens is that the brain is receiving testosterone and the progesterone and all these females and male hormones, because these hormones such as testosterone are actually able to permeate the blood-brain barrier. They have a real profound effect on the brain. Many neuroscientists really question why is it that males have a tendency of having high incarceration rates. They die earlier than women. They have a shorter lifespan. They are more aggressive. They are more into fights, whereas women are more into caring, loving, and compassion. So it's basically for like basically if you look at the primordial aspects of life, really it's this how these really hormones affect the brain. So now, what happens when feminism kicks in? Well, feminism, it's a state in which females understand that the male attitude, it's going overboard. Like males in a society, our society is really developed, guys. We're in the 21st century, 2023. Everything is much better now. We have technology and all that. However, women sort of feel in the most subtle, in many instances that may occur somewhere in society, that is sort of being left down and being ignored in society, in the managerial positions. If we look across the board, we have over 194 countries out there in the world, and an estimate says that less than 25% of the whole countries in the world have female presidents. And we talk about CEOs positions, we talk about managerial positions. Why is it that men are taking over all these positions? Why can't it be like an equal share, and also for the pay, for all that? So it's a really controversial aspect, and the male brain, it is responsible. We look at it in on a primordial and primitive way of seeing things. Us in the hunter-gatherer stage, back there thousands of years ago, males have this part of the brain that is really heightened. It's responsible for emotional and stress response. So as part of the autonomic nervous system, it's responsible for fight and flight mode. Surprisingly, testosterone seems to profoundly affect that part of the brain so much that males are in this constant state of wanting to get things done, wanting to understand things, solve things, lead, be over the other person, get better salaries, get better positions. But this, guys, is basically a nature of man. It's something that is really profoundly affected by how his endocrine system affects his brain, and the brain develops. And surprisingly enough, for those of you guys who do not know, brains of all human beings tend to have a development from conception up to around age 25. But something is strange, because male brains have a tendency of developing at a slower pace, and they develop till a longer they take much longer to develop. That's why women have a tendency of being smarter at a younger stage and making good judgments, making good evaluation of things of society, whereas men, they tend to take more time. Another aspect of it, how that influences the nature of us as humans and different sexes, is that the brains of males actually, surprisingly, they're no creation of new neurons per se. However, the pathways and the pruning, the new connections inside the brain are constantly increasing in male's brain. The science behind that, it's not really well understood. However, estimates and studies show that males have this ever progressing state of development, and that affects and influences them to have an attitude of being chasers and going after money. That's why most men out there are millionaires. They still chase, and they still go after things and get things done. So feminism affects the male brain, because males basically are natively or naturally chasers and problem solvers. And when another sex is trying to judge and is trying to take that over them, because male brains are very protective and very sort of aggressive and very responsive to fear, they respond in a in the same coin, like teeth for teeth, tit for tat, and and like they have a very aggressive response, quote unquote. So that actually affects how males understand the whole game in the board. Feminism is not bad, it's not good. I'm not judging, I'll leave that for you guys. But I think it affects modern men too much, and men are having a tendency of blaming everything on women. However, women have nothing to do with that. All I think is that everyone has to get whatever they fight for. If you want to be an engineer, you want to be a leader, you have to fight for it. And most Western countries like this one have a really fair system of selection and position assignment. So I don't think there's anything bad, guys. Everyone should fight for whatever they want, regardless of their sex, their genders, their connotations or attributes. Everyone should be whatever they want. And stay happy, stay fine, and stay tuned. Please subscribe to my channel. The channel is going. I'll show my face in further videos, but I'm just putting the setup in the studio just to have you guys connected with me. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and share, like, and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye for now.